Welcome back. This is our 3 and 30 Rebuild series as part of our effort to live a healthier lifestyle. In part 1, we are going to be focusing on the importance of fiber. In our rebuild phase of 3 and 30, we want to focus on implementing healthy habits that have been proven to enhance our overall well-being. We will be blending science-backed facts along with the wisdom of our patron saints. In part 1 of this series, we want to look to the wisdom of St Hildegard of Bingen. St Hildegard was born in 1098 in the country of Germany. From the moment of her birth, her parents were determined that their child would lead a religious life by way of tithe to God. Her exceptionally keen interest in the environment was noticeable from her infancy, and she astonished her parents by experiencing her first visions at the age of 3. On November 1st, 1106, at the age of 8, she was sent to a monastery to be kept and cared for and to study. There was a beautiful nun there who took her under her wing, and she began to foster the vocation. She became a Benedictine nun, taking her vows in 1115. Over the following years, St. Hildegard was educated in the virtues and in music. Although as a woman she was denied access to the medieval sciences. Officially, therefore, she was regarded through her lifetime as untaught. Despite this, she acquired at her own initiative, and with the support of her confessor, a wealth of knowledge that she supplemented with her own observations, and whose volume of knowledge is quite astonishing, even in modern standards. One area of St. Hildegard's charity work was to help people that were brought to her that were ill, and she found very often it was the consequence of poor diet. Poor diet still has a fatal consequence today. Modern humans lead a lifestyle of abundance, eating much more than our ancestors in the past, and yet often using far less energy due to lack of physical exercise. The consequences are obesity, metabolic and cardiovascular disease, and many other health problems. Medical experts now attribute around 2/3 of all deaths to bad diet. Nutritionally worthless foods with too much animal protein and fat, salt and refined flour and sugar are the target of particular criticism of many nutritional scientists. They advocate replacing such foods with a simple whole food diet, including grains, fruit, and vegetables. And that's going to be our focus today. Let's start with deciphering the truth about fiber. Fiber is a type of carbohydrate that the body cannot digest. It is found in plant-based foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Fiber is classified into two main types, soluble and insoluble, and both have important health benefits. Soluble fiber is the type that dissolves in water and can help lower cholesterol and blood sugar levels. These sources include oats, peas, beans, apples, bananas, and citrus fruits. Insoluble fiber does not dissolve in water and aids in digestion and keeps us regular with regard to healthy elimination of digested foods. Good sources of these include whole grains, nuts, seeds, and many fruits and vegetables. The diagram on the right-hand side of your screen helps us to see where fiber fits in our digestive tract. Soluble fiber interacts with water and becomes a gel-like substance in our digestive system. This reaction works to slow our digestion. Insoluble fiber combines with other food we eat and works to build up our stool to help speed up digestion. St. Hildegard promoted good gut health by insisting on a diet of high-fibered foods within the monastery and the people she counseled with health issues. Volume of food also played a role. She recommended periods of fasting to heal the digestive tract. Spelt and raw foods were some of Hildegard's favorite recommendations. Now let's visit our 3 and 30 rebuild strategy as it pertains to fiber. So the first thing we're going to do is search. Based on the high fiber foods we share in this video and your own research, narrow down the foods that best suit your tastes and meal planning. Make a list and go shopping. Then we're going to implement. Think of ways that you can incorporate these foods into each meal to increase the fiber count in your meals slowly. So once your body has adjusted, we're going to do this one meal at a time. And remember to drink lots of water. Track. I'm a big fan of tracking what I eat. So for better or worse, if your diet needs an overhaul, being honest with yourself is the best way to implement change. And we need to see it front and center. So track what you're eating so you have an honest sense of what you're taking in. Ready, set, go. With a few reminders. If you are ready to up your fiber consumption, great, but go slowly. If you take on too much fiber too quickly, you may feel bloated and gassy. Increase your fiber intake gradually over several weeks to alleviate any bouts of abdominal discomfort. Be kind and give your body time to adjust. Drink plenty of water to soften the fiber that moves throughout your GI tract. According to the FDA, foods must contain 5 grams of fiber in order for them to be called high fiber. But nutrient-rich foods that fall below this threshold are still good to include. Remember, variety is key for a healthy, high-fiber diet that also has everything your body needs to function optimally. This slide illustrates some high-fiber foods, and I wanted to show you that it was a 1 cup serving for all of these foods. So we have 15 grams for pinto beans. We have collard greens at 6 grams of fiber. Whole grain spelt, so that's 7.5 grams of fiber, and that is one of the things that St Hildegard definitely recommended. She was a big spelt fan. Mind you, it was a more ancient form back in that time, but she definitely said that spelt is a miracle food. Acorn squash at 9 grams, strawberries at 3 grams, and carrots at 5 grams. You can see that it's a great balance there, but they all have different grams of fiber per cup. All right, let's recap our plan to add more fiber into our diet. Starting on the left-hand side with the red column, we're going to prioritize whole foods. So we're going to choose whole grains like brown rice, whole wheat bread, and oats instead of refined grains. We're going to look for terms like whole grain on food labels, as different types of whole grains can be used. We're also going to look at the labels for the least amount of ingredients. So remember, when we can read what's on the label, it's something that is more whole than having a whole bunch of additives that we can't pronounce. We kind of learned that in our video a few months ago on food and how to read labels. In the blue column, we're going to embrace fruits and vegetables. So we're going to aim for at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily, eating whole fruits instead of juices. So juices have a lot lower fiber content. It doesn't have the pulp. So we're going to reach for that apple instead of the glass of apple juice. Include a variety of colors and types of fruits and vegetables for a wider range of nutrients and fiber. In the middle column, we are going to include legumes like beans, lentils, and chickpeas. They are excellent sources of fiber. We can add them to stews, soups, salads, or as a side dish. We're going to check the nutritional labels, making sure that there is a good fiber content in those things. In the green column, we have add fiber gradually. So increasing our fiber too quickly can cause bloating, gas, and discomfort. We want to do this slowly over several weeks to allow our digestive system to adjust. And look for high fiber cereals and oatmeal. We can add nuts and seeds into our salads or as a snack. The purple column, we're going to stay hydrated. Fiber absorbs water, so it's important to drink plenty of fluids when increasing your fiber intake. Water helps prevent constipation and makes the digestive process more efficient. And I know we sort of were looking at a goal of 3 liters of water a day in our original 3 and 30 reset. If we can aim for that, great. But if you can get even 2 liters of water in, that would be great. And other tips, we can add chopped dried fruit and nuts into our baked goods like cookies, muffins, and pancakes. And of course, we're going to be using whole wheat flour in those things. And by incorporating these strategies into our diet, we can effectively increase our fiber intake and reap the rewards. Thank you for joining us for part 1 in our 3 and 30 Rebuild series. The goal of this series is to uncover building blocks that are going to help us thrive and live a healthy lifestyle. And that's what God wants for us. He wants us to be healthy in mind, body, and soul. So as these series takes off, we are going to be uncovering different aspects of our life that we can accentuate through healthy choices. Please like this video if you have enjoyed watching it. Sign up for our 3 and 30 rebuild with Mount Carmel Place of Prayer. And please subscribe to our channel so that you are in the know as soon as we release more videos in this series. Until next time, God bless.